Hi everybody, welcome to our YouTube channel. My name is Melanie Newman. Today we have the lovely Luna with us today. She is 19 weeks old and she is just adorable. She is a Maltese cross Cavalier and I'm lucky enough to give her her first real big haircut. She still has her puppy coat, so her mum definitely wants to take some hair off. Now the breeder of her has already given her a bit of a haircut before she went to her new home, so it looks like her little paws have been trimmed, and I don't know if you can see, but good girl. There is short bits around her little face, so I'm going to try and tidy all that up, but we're probably going to take maybe about 3/4 of an inch off. Oh, and she's already shaking. I'm sorry. I'll try and make it comfortable for you. Good girl. She's so sweet and adorable, so I really want to bring that out in her. Before I pop her in the bath, I just want to give her a little brush just to see how she feels about the equipment. But I'm going to spray a little bit of the puppy coat conditioning spray and then just gently brush over her. Now I'm using a protective pin slicker and she seems okay with that. Good girl. She doesn't have any major knots and tangles. It's probably just around her bottom area. Now if I show you guys what I mean, it's just these little tangles here. Now I'm pretty sure that's just a bit of puppy coat. Yeah. So when the puppy coat starts to come out and the adult coat starts to grow in, if the puppy coat's not brushed out, that's where the knots and tangles can form. So we'll just gently go over that area with the slicker. Good girl. Yeah, she seems pretty good. And I'm just grooming small sections at a time. So I'm not going right through her coat. I'm just gently line brushing through that coat. So just one little section at a time, just so she feels nice and secure. Now I've always got one hand on her, so I don't want to use a grooming loop on her just yet. She seems pretty calm, but always one hand on our dog at all times. Good girl. Good girl. What is it? I like to show our little puppies what we're actually doing, just so they can get an idea. Oh, that's okay, it's just a brush. Good girl. Oh, good girl. Now let's see how you go with your little face. Good girl. Oh, she's so tiny. Good girl. It's always tricky when it's their first time because they just don't understand. But she seems pretty good. Okay, should we pop you in the bath? In the nice warm bath? Let's go. Okie dokie, so I'm using our puppy collection on her today. So it's nice and gentle. Good girl. I'll pop her in the bath. And I'm definitely popping a little grooming loop on her, but I'm popping it through one arm and then through her little neck. So I don't want her to feel like she can't move around. So that's why it's not directly on her neck. It's just through her arm and then over her neck, but not through the other arm. Good girl. And let's just have it on low first. Good girl. And I'll turn it down a little bit. Good girl. And then just starting with her back first. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Hop down. Good girl. We are going to shampoo her twice. This will make sure that we've removed all the dirt and debris out of her coat. And then we're going to condition her once and really massage it into her coat. That's all right, it's all right. Good girl. 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 I know. It's all right. It's all right. Good girl. Gently over those ears. Always facing the water downwards. Good girl. Another one. Good girl. Sometimes it's nice to just use a cloth. If they don't like the water around their little eyes, you could just use a cloth to rinse out any product. Just so it's nice and gentle for them. And just gently massage the conditioner in. And it's nice to pay attention to the dog's coat when we're using conditioner because she is losing a little bit of her puppy coat. And remember when I was brushing it out around her rear end, there was a few knots and tangles, so there was a lot more coat in that area. So it's nice to really pay attention to those areas. The more hydrated that coat is, the easier it's going to be to brush out those little tangles after the bath. Good girl. Okay, so she is all bathed. Good girl. She's got out of her little grooming loop, but that's okay. She's still very relaxed. Good girl. Okie dokie, so I've brought her out from her warm bath. Now I've popped her I've popped a towel underneath her, so any water that's coming off her coat isn't going to go on the mat or the table and then go back onto her. It's going to go straight into the towel. So this is going to speed up our drying time. Now, because she's only 19 weeks old, I don't know how she's going to react with a hairdryer. I use a little hairdryer on baby, so I'll never use a high velocity. I'll only use a small handheld hairdryer. So I'm going to plug that in. So I'm making sure her coat is really, really towel dried well. Okay, so I'm going to use the puppy coat conditioning spray and spritz her coat. So this will add a little bit more hydration to her coat. And just going to run the brush through her just quickly. Good girl. Just to separate that coat. So when the dryer hits the coat's nice and separated and it's not clumping together like on this side. So see how we see those clumps? What we want to do is make sure that they're nicely separated. Because when the coat's separated, it's going to dry a lot faster. And when we've got puppies, we really want to minimize the amount of time they're spending on the grooming table. Although she doesn't seem too upset. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, and let's put on a little happy hoodie. Now, she's never had a happy hoodie on before, and her mum has told me that she is a little bit funny with things around her head, as you can see. Good girl. It'll help with the sound. Okay. So I want the towel to be on her when we dry. That's just a nice gentle heat. Good girl. Good girl. She's not too bad. Good girl. Yes. It's almost like the initial sound of the dryer can scare him a little bit. But once we reassure him, it's generally okay. And we'll give a little brush at the same time. Good girl. Well, she's doing really well. When we brush the hair at the same time, it really ensures that we're separating that coat, and it will dry a lot quicker because we're not drying those clumps. And we really want to make sure that we're drying right down to the base of the hair so she's not left wet and cold. We really want to make sure this coat is 20,000% dry. Good girl. So we can see here how there's little clumps in the coat because the dryer is drying that hair while there's clumps in it. But if we put the slicker through it, it will just separate that coat, and then the coat begins to dry a lot quicker and it's nice and separated. And that means that we can get right down to the base of that coat, so right down to the skin. Drying a dog, especially a puppy, shouldn't be rushed. We need to take our time and really allow the dog or the puppy to feel comfortable within their environment. Because if we rush this process, the next time she's groomed, she might get really scared, whereas now we're earning that trust with her that the dryer is not actually scary, it's just drying her. And we really need to feel the coat as we're drying it, just to make sure that it's warm to touch. If it's cool to touch, it generally means that the coat's not dry and we need to go back over that area. Okay, so I'm gently going to take her little happy hoodie off and brush her little head. Good girl. And let's see how she goes with the dryer on her head. Now I'm taking off the end of the nozzle and then just gently from a distance drying her little head. Now we don't want to rush this. We want her to feel really super safe and secure. Good girl. Let's go from the other way. Good girl. Oh. She's doing really well. And then in between drying, we're just going to separate that coat again. Good girl. And then start that process again. So from a distance, just gently drying her little head. And I always go from behind or to the side behind. So never front on, always behind, because this will allow her to still be able to breathe clearly and to not feel threatened with the dryer directly in front of her face. And then from the top, oh, good girl. Good girl. From underneath. Oh, good girl. She doesn't like from underneath, but that's okay. We can go from the top. Good girl. We just want to be really sensible about how the puppy feels when we're drying their little head, making sure they're safe and secure all the time, that if we're not using the grooming loop, that we've got one hand on the dog at all times and that they've got a non-slip mat underneath their little paws so they're not sliding around everywhere. And we have that gentle approach. So we're not rushing her. We're letting her ease into the grooming process. Okay, so she is completely dry. Her coat feels warm to touch, so it doesn't feel cool in any places. When we're drying our puppy, we really want to set our puppy up for success, because even with a handheld dryer, it is quite noisy and it might not be a sound that they're used of so close to their body. So we really want it to be a successful experience for them. So not rushing that process, allowing them to feel really safe and that the dryer is not going to hurt them. So once she feels like she's okay with that dryer in a few months' time, then I might use the high velocity dryer on low, so it's a little bit louder, but hopefully she can transition into the high velocity dryer from the handheld dryer. So it's a slow process, but it's really conditioning our puppy to the grooming process at a young age, because remember, she's only 19 weeks old. So we really want this to be a positive experience for this little girl. Okay, so once I've gone through with our protective pin slicker, I'm now going through with our fine tooth comb, and this will make sure there's no knots and tangles. I'm using a snap-on attachment comb. So I'm using an inch snap-on attachment comb with a number 30 blade underneath. So if we have any knots and tangles left in her coat, that snap-on attachment comb is actually going to snag on the coat and it will hurt her because it will pull quite tight and quite sharp really fast. So we want to make sure this coat is 100% prepped, because again, we want to set her up for success with her first grooming appointment. We don't want it to be uncomfortable for her. Okie dokie, so I'm not going to clip her straight away. I'm going to turn the clipper on and desensitize her to the sound of the clipper, and then just rub the back side of the clipper over her body so she begins to understand that the clipper's not going to hurt her. And the reason I'm not going through her straight away, because if she doesn't like it or jumps around, what can happen is it again, the snap-on attachment comb can snag on her coat if she's jumping around, and it can pull and hurt her, and I really need this to be a positive experience for her. Okay, so she's having a bit of a smell. She seems okay. And then if I hold on to her so she's nice and secure, turn it on. I'm just going to leave it there for a minute. Good girl. Good girl. I know, it's noisy, isn't it? And then just rub the back side. Good girl. And I've always got hold of her and supporting her. Good girl. And then once she's okay, I'm going to run the snap-on attachment comb over her little body. And she's doing really well. Good girl. Okay. She's doing really, really well. When we go through her coat with the clipper, we really need to watch the direction of the hair growth and clip to that pattern. This will help us get a smoother clip. So we don't want any lines or track marks. We want it nice and smooth and nice and even. Okay, so I'm going to scissor out her little pads. So just using the tip of the scissors. Good girl. And keeping them nice and flat. Just to get them neat and tidy. Comb all those little hairs down. And that's her little pad done. Let's go to our other one. Girl. This one's quite hairy. Comb it down. Come straight across. Now when we're scissoring pads, we always want to make sure we're using the tip, that we're not scissoring with the middle part of the scissor. It's always with the tip of the scissor, because we've got more control when we're just scissoring with the tip. Good girl, she's doing really well. I prefer to scissor pads on puppies' first grooms, because I would like them to get used to the process of me touching their pads and having equipment near their little feet. Good girl. Last one. Last one. Good girl. Okay, so I'm going to use my straights, and just scissor lightly around her little feet, just so it's nice and round. And again, using the tip of the scissor only. Good girl. Good girl. Yes. Okay. Her little front tootsies. Good girl. You're doing really well. Yes, you are. Good girl. Good girl. And just gently lift her leg and make sure there's nothing hanging over her little pad. Good girl. Using my blenders, I'm just going to take off a little bit of length off her legs, just so it blends in with the clipper work. Good girl. Now with all my work, I prefer to scissor the sides of the back leg from my rear profile. Good girl, you're nearly done. Because we don't want big balloon legs coming out the sides of her back legs. And this will go for the front as well. Good girl. Good girl. I'm combing all those hairs up. So basically anything the clippers haven't got, we are going to take off. And sometimes when the hair is this fine, it is hard for the clippers to pick up any of those little hairs. So we do have to go back over with our scissors or blenders. Good girl. I know, it's weird, isn't it? And she's got a little bit of a combination coat, so I can see the Cavalier coat coming through, as well as the single coated Maltese hair. So it'll be interesting to see how her coat turns out. And I'll show you what I mean, because around her wither, it is really, really flat. So more like a Cavalier coat. Put this little grooming loop on you. You see how you go around your head? Good girl. Oh, good. She's not a fan of things around her head, but she seems okay with that. So from that rear profile, good girl, what are you looking at? So nothing's sticking out when I look at her from the rear profile, so we don't have these big balloon legs, that they blend in just nicely with the rest of her coat. Okay, we can see where she has been really clipped short. So I'm just trying to blend that in with my blender so it's not offensive when you walk, but we'll clip out her little bum area to tidy it up. But I'm just trying to blend everything in. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. It's nice and blended now. Good girl. And then using my blenders, I'm just going to blend in where we've clipped and then scissor down her little legs. Girl. And I can see on the front of the back leg what I need to take off. Comb it all up. And then just tipping off and rounding in that little leg. I'm just going to lift this leg and come in the middle. Now what we would like is the same width as we're scissoring around. So constantly combing up. Okay, I'm just combing all those little hairs up just to make sure all my clipper work is nice and even. And then just run my blenders across that area. When we gently pick up the front leg, at the back of the front leg, we can see all those little stray hairs. So we need to go from the foot and then just come straight up towards the elbow. And then while we got that little foot up and she's comfortable, comb all that hair down and then just scissor in her underline. But it's a good idea if she stands. And just making it neat and tidy. We comb all the hairs over to one side. And then we can see any little hairs sticking out. There's not many. Good girl. And then we're going to repeat the process for the other side. Good girl. Turn you around. And she really didn't like the clippers around the front of her, so we're definitely going to scissor that in. So anything sticking out from that front profile, we're going to take off. So when we're scissoring, we want those scissors to be nice and straight. So we don't want them to come in this way because we want nice parallel legs and we want the same width around that leg. Good girl. Pop your leg back down. Good girl. In the back. Coming up into our little underline. Pop your head around. Good girl. Hop her little foot forward. Good girl. Then we need her to stand while we do her little underline. So stand up, Dal. Good girl. And we can see all those long hairs that we need to scissor down to the length that we've clipped. Good girl. Good girl. Comb all those hairs over. Nice and neat and tidy. The insides. So her mum has told me that she's going to be wearing a harness. So I want to make sure that I take her underarm, so the hair under her little underarms, nice and short so it doesn't get any knots and tangles when she's got her little harness on. See all these little hairs that I've missed? Good girl. Other side. Okie dokie, so she really didn't like the clippers around the front of her chest area. So using my comb to comb all those little hairs up and gently supporting her little head. Good girl. Good girl. Now I think she just doesn't like the sound around her little ear area, and that's totally fine and understandable, but hopefully she gets used to that. Well, she's falling asleep now. It's nice. It's nice. Okay. Then I'm going to follow that up to behind her little ears. So just to make sure I haven't missed anything with the clippers. Around the other side. Good girl. I know you don't like this, do you? Good girl. There we go. Up to her little jawline. So right up to here. You can see that it's missed some hairs through here. Can you stand up for a minute? Okie dokie, so we'll move on to her little face. Now this is interesting when we have Cavalier crosses. Sometimes they can have short hair around their muzzle. So I don't think this has been trimmed. I think it's how it is actually growing. And because she's got some really short hair along her back area. So I'm going to try and blend that in, but just so it looks natural, because it might actually come through and start to grow as she gets older. But let's start with removing the hair, the inner corner of her little eyes. Good girl. I'm just using my thinners for this. Good girl. And coming up against the grain of the hair, so against how it grows. Good girl. Good girl. I know. It's always one side that they don't like. It's okay, come on. I know. I know. Come on. I know. I know. There we go. There we go. Good girl. So let's just comb. Let's just comb her little fringe forward. And again, using a small pair of blenders, I'm just going to come through and just slowly cut through her little fringe. So I'm not taking it really short. So I want this fringe to really frame her eyes. And then we can see how it's starting to frame her little eyes. Once she keeps still, good girl. Good girl. Good girl. And then coming down from her little cheek into her jawline. Good girl. And then just coming around into her muzzle. So into those shorter areas. Good girl. Okay, other side. Come on, other side. You can do it. Good girl. Okay, good girl. Oh, good girl. Good girl. And then just blending in that jawline. We can see that shorter area. So when we come through, I'm going to go with the direction of her coat growth and come down into that jaw, just so we start to blend that in, so it doesn't appear too short and then all of a sudden long. Let's go back to our other side. Good girl, you can do it. Other side. Sometimes puppies can't be forced. You have to gently guide them to the area that you want them to be in, so then they go there on their own accord, so they're not being pushed into something they don't want to do. Isn't that right? Okay, let's gently move you over to this side. Good girl. And coming down. And coming down with the direction of the coat growth. And gently move her little head up. And rounding off underneath her jawline. Good girl. Okay, good girl. Let's comb all those little hairs out. Make sure we haven't missed anything, so we don't have any long bits hanging out. Good girl. Again, going with the direction of the hair growth, just so we can get that nice and blended. So we don't want that long bit here and then short. Good girl. Sorry, I'm trying to gently move her closer to the camera so you can see what we're doing. But like I said, you can't force puppies. You have to make sure they're happy all the time. I'll just take out a bit of hair in this stop area. She wouldn't let me do it before, but she's letting me now, so I'll take that opportunity. Let's neaten up these little ears. Good girl. So it's just inside those little ears that we're going to get nice and neat. Let's go on the other side. Good girl. Good girl. She's doing really well. Okay, so I want to take a little bit off through the top of her head. So I'm going to comb that hair up and come straight across. Comb that hair up and come straight across. There we go. Good girl. And just at the back of her skull, see how she goes. Good girl. Because this is where we've started to clip through here. So we've clipped this area, but we need to scissor in that transitional line. Good girl. Pop your head down for a jiffy. And behind her little ears as well, because we couldn't get the clipper right up there. So just combing all those little hairs up and then coming in behind those little ears. Good girl. Okay, I think you look pretty spiffy. Let's just round in those ears a bit. So when we scissor ears, we always want to scissor towards the tip. So I'm holding the ear all the time. So when I'm going through and I'm scissoring, with my thumb, I'm feeling the edge of the ear. So I flip the ear around the other way, and again, my thumb has got the edge of the ear at all times. So again, comb all those little hairs down and come towards the tip. And flip it around the other side. And then come up towards the tip. So while she's resting, I wanted to show you guys the flat area of hair that is around her wither area that's more like a Cavalier type coat compared to the rest of her coat. So this is what we can get with a combination coat. So there's nothing wrong with her, it's just a part of her makeup with being a Maltese cross Cavalier. Good girl. Left is her little toenails. I'm just taking off the tips, and I like to do puppy nails last. Little dew claws. The reason I like to do them last is because they're really relaxed by this stage. And my last little area is clipping out her little private area. So gently moving her leg up, but not over her shoulder, and then just more skimming over the hair just to keep it neat and tidy. Good girl. And then we'll quickly clip her little bum. And then she's all done. Okay, so all she's got left is a whisper of the puppy cologne and then her little bit of flair. And she was such a good girl for her first full groom. I'm so happy for you. You did so well. Yes, good girl. Thank you to baby Luna. Yes, good girl. Now I'm going to pop all the equipment down in the description below, so you guys can definitely check that out. Oh, she just wants cuddles now. Good girl. So you guys can definitely check that out. And if you guys have any questions, definitely pop them in the comments below, and I try and get back to every single person. And if you're not already, definitely subscribe. And until next time, guys, happy grooming.